June 1st, 1962, Stage 14, 20th Century Fox Studios, Los Angeles. Marilyn Monroe walks off the set of Something's Got to Give for the last time. The biggest star in the world. The most desired woman on the planet. She leaves that soundstage, and 35 days later, she's dead. The studio fires her. Then, they destroy her. And when she's gone, they bring flowers to her funeral like they didn't pull the trigger themselves. Fox executives said it was professional. They said it was business. But the truth? The truth is uglier than anything Hollywood has ever admitted. Here is the story. Spring 1962. Hollywood is burning. The old guard is dying. The studio system that built empires is crumbling. Television is stealing audiences. The budget for Cleopatra with Elizabeth Taylor has ballooned to $44 million, and it's bleeding Fox dry like a stuck pig. The executives are sweating. They're desperate. They need a hit. They need insurance. They need Marilyn Monroe. But Marilyn isn't the girl they remember. She's 36 years old now, and in Hollywood years, that might as well be ancient. The camera still loves her. The world still worships her. But the studio sees something else. They see the tardiness, the illness, the pills, the pain. They see a woman who's harder to control, and control is the only currency they understand. Something's Got to Give is supposed to be a comeback, a romantic comedy, light, fun. The kind of picture that prints money. George Cukor is directing. Dean Martin is her co-star. It should be easy. But nothing with Marilyn is easy anymore, because Marilyn is fighting a war nobody can see. She arrives on set when she can. Some days she doesn't arrive at all. She's battling chronic sinusitis, insomnia that would break a lesser soul, endometriosis that makes every movement agony. But the studio doesn't care about pain you can't photograph. They care about the schedule. They care about the money. They care about control. The set itself feels wrong from the beginning. The soundstage is cold despite the California heat. There's a tension in the air, thick as smoke. Crew members whisper. Cukor is frustrated, but he's trying. He knows what Marilyn is capable of when she's right. He's seen the magic. But the executives circling outside the soundstage, they've already made up their minds. They're building a case. Every late arrival, every sick day, every moment of humanity, from a woman they've always treated like property. They're writing it all down. They're preparing for war. Marilyn knows it too. You can see it in her eyes in the footage that survives. She's present, but she's distant. She's performing, but she's protecting herself. She's learned the hard way that Hollywood doesn't love you. It uses you. And when you're used up, it throws you away. Dean Martin stands by her. He refuses to do the picture without her. That loyalty will matter later. But in this moment, it's not enough to stop what's coming. The studio executives sit in their offices with their cigars and their spreadsheets, and they do their math. They've got insurance on Marilyn. If she can't complete the film, they collect. If they fire her for cause, they can blame the failure on her and move on. It's not personal. It's business. Except it is personal. It's always personal when you're deciding whether a human being is worth more alive or dead. Let's go back. Let's understand what brought Marilyn to that soundstage, to that moment, to that breaking point. By 1962, Marilyn Monroe has given Hollywood everything. She's been molded, packaged, sold, and resold. She's been the dumb blonde, the sex symbol, the fantasy. She's made millions for studios while fighting for pennies herself. She's been told she can't act, so she studied with Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio in New York. She's been told she's difficult, but what they mean is, she started saying no. She started asking for respect. Her marriage to Arthur Miller is over. That intellectual partnership she craved, that escape from the Hollywood machine, it couldn't survive the pressure. She's alone again. Alone in that big house in Brentwood. Alone with the pills that help her sleep, and the pills that help her wake, and the pills that help her forget she needs the other pills. But she's not broken, not yet. She still dreams of being taken seriously. She still shows up. She still tries. In April 1962, production begins on Something's Got to Give, and Marilyn reports to work. She's nervous. She's sick. But she's there. The script is weak, and she knows it. It's a remake of My Favorite Wife, and the dialogue feels stale. She's worked with Paula Strasberg, her acting coach, trying to find something real in the material. But when you're being asked to play a woman who returns from being shipwrecked to find her husband remarried, and it's supposed to be light comedy, where's the truth in that? Still, she tries. The days she makes it to set, she's professional. She knows her lines. She works with Cukor, who genuinely respects her talent. But the sinus infection is real. The fever is real. The doctor's notes are real. She's not faking it, but the studio has decided she is. They've decided this is sabotage. They've decided she's the problem. Quick question. Have you ever had a secret that was eating you alive? Have you ever been in a situation where no matter what you did, you were the villain in someone else's story? Let us know in the comments. Because that's where Marilyn is. She's damned if she does, and damned if she doesn't. On May 17th, she makes a decision. President John F. Kennedy is having a birthday celebration at Madison Square Garden. She's been asked to perform, to sing Happy Birthday to the President of the United States. It's not just an honor. It's a connection to power, to legitimacy, to something beyond Hollywood's meat grinder. Fox says no. They say she needs to be on set. But Marilyn goes anyway. She flies to New York. She pours herself into that dress, the one that has to be sewn onto her body. She steps onto that stage in front of 15,000 people and she sings, breathless, sensual, unforgettable. The president jokes that she can retire from singing Happy Birthday now. The world watches. The world remembers. But Fox is furious. She returns to Los Angeles, and the temperature on set has dropped to Arctic. The executives see the Madison Square Garden appearance as the final insult. She chose the president over them. She chose herself over the production. In their minds, she's made her choice. But here's what they don't see. Marilyn needed that moment. She needed to feel like she mattered as more than just a commodity. She needed to be in a room where she was celebrated, not managed. She needed to remember she was human. The shoots that follow are tense. On May 23rd, they film the swimming pool scene. Marilyn in a flesh-colored swimsuit that photographs like nudity. The stills from that shoot will become iconic. Marilyn in the water, vulnerable, beautiful, alive. The photographers go wild. The publicity is gold, but it's not enough. It's never enough. By the end of May, Marilyn has worked only 12 out of 32 scheduled shoot days. The production is behind. The budget is climbing, and the executives have made their decision. They're going to fire her. They're going to blame the failure on her, and they're going to collect the insurance. Marilyn doesn't know it yet, but the trap has already been set. June 1st, 1962. The last day Marilyn Monroe works on Something's Got to Give. She arrives on set. She's tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. The kind of tired that comes from fighting a battle you know you can't win. But she's there. She's trying. She's always trying. The crew is professional, but there's a distance now. They can feel it. Something is ending. Not just a production, something bigger. Cukor is directing a scene. Marilyn is supposed to be light, playful. It's a comedy, after all. But how do you play light when you're carrying the weight of the world? She does her best. She hits her marks. She delivers her lines. But there's a sadness in her eyes that the camera catches, a knowledge. Between takes, she sits alone. Paula Strasberg tries to help, but even Paula can't reach her now. Dean Martin talks to her, tries to make her laugh. He's a good man. He genuinely cares, but he can't stop what's coming either. Nobody can. The day ends. Marilyn leaves stage 14. She walks to her car. The California sun is setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Beautiful. The kind of beauty that makes you ache because you know it's temporary. She drives home to Brentwood, to that house that's supposed to be a sanctuary, but feels more like a prison. She doesn't know yet, not officially, but she can feel it. The end is close. June 8th, 1962. 1 week later. Marilyn turns 36. There's a small celebration on set. A cake, some singing. Dean Martin is there. Cukor is there. The crew tries to make it special, but the executives aren't there. They're in their offices, finalizing paperwork. That same day, Fox's legal department sends the letter. It's delivered by courier, cold, official. The language is corporate, professional, but what it says is simple. You're fired. Marilyn Monroe, the biggest star in the world, is terminated from Something's Got to Give for repeated and unexcused absences. The studio claims she's violated her contract. They claim she's unprofessional. They claim they have no choice. But here's what the letter doesn't say. Fox needs a scapegoat for Cleopatra's disaster. They need to show their investors they're taking action. They need to blame someone for their failures. And Marilyn is convenient. She's vulnerable. She's isolated. She's perfect. The firing is announced publicly. The press has a field day. Headlines scream about Marilyn's unprofessionalism, her instability, her decline. The narrative is written before she can defend herself. She's the problem. She's the reason. She's the villain. Dean Martin quits immediately. He refuses to do the film without her. That loyalty costs him. Fox threatens to sue him for breach of contract, but he doesn't care. He knows what they've done. He knows it's wrong. Marilyn is devastated, not just by the firing, by the betrayal, by the public humiliation, by the realization that after everything she's given Hollywood, this is how it ends. Fired, blamed, destroyed. She retreats to her home. The pills are there. The phone rings, but she doesn't always answer. Her therapist, Dr. Ralph Greenson, tries to help, but the damage is deep. Her publicist tries to manage the narrative, but the machine is too powerful. Fox moves quickly. They announce they're recasting her role. They're considering Lee Remick. They're moving forward without Marilyn Monroe, as if she was always replaceable, as if she didn't matter. But the movie falls apart anyway. Without Marilyn, there is no Something's Got to Give. Dean Martin won't do it. The chemistry is gone. The magic is gone. Eventually, Fox has to admit defeat. The production is scrapped, but by then, it doesn't matter, because Marilyn Monroe has 35 days left to live. The weeks after the firing are a blur of pain and desperation. Marilyn tries to fight back. She does interviews. She talks about wanting to finish the film. She talks about her commitment to her craft. But the damage is done. Public opinion has turned. The studio's narrative has won. Behind the scenes, something else is happening. Fox's insurance company is investigating. They want to know if Marilyn's illnesses were real or fabricated. They want to know if they have to pay out the policy. The vultures are circling. Marilyn's attorney is trying to negotiate. Maybe she can come back. Maybe they can salvage this. Fox is actually considering it now because without her, they have nothing. The conversations are happening. Slowly, carefully. But Marilyn is unraveling. The isolation is crushing her. The fear is constant. She's calling friends in the middle of the night. She's talking about feeling expendable, about being used, about being thrown away. The people closest to her are worried. They're trying to help, but the darkness is closing in. July bleeds into August. There are moments of hope. Marilyn does a photo shoot for Vogue. She looks stunning, radiant. The camera still loves her, but photos lie. They capture a moment, not a life. August 4th, 1962, Saturday night. Marilyn is at home in Brentwood. The details of that night have been debated for 60 years. Who saw her last? Who called who? What happened in those final hours? But here's what we know for certain. Sometime in the early morning hours of August 5th, Marilyn Monroe dies. The official cause is listed as probable suicide, barbiturate overdose, empty pill bottles by the bed. But the questions start immediately. The timeline doesn't make sense. The evidence doesn't add up. The autopsy has inconsistencies. And the people who had the most to gain from her silence, they're never seriously investigated. Fox issues a statement. They're shocked, saddened. They send flowers to the funeral. Studio executives attend. They wear black. They offer condolences. They play their parts. But here's the reveal that's haunted Hollywood for decades. Within weeks of Marilyn's death, Fox collects on her life insurance policy, the same policy they had on Something's Got to Give. The same production they fired her from. They get paid. The financial crisis from Cleopatra is softened. The scapegoat is gone. The books are balanced. And nobody asks the hard questions, not publicly, not where it matters. Years later, documents surface. Memos. Internal communications. They show that Fox's financial team had calculated the value of Marilyn completing the film versus the value of the insurance payout. They'd done the math. They knew what she was worth dead. Does that mean they killed her? No. That's not what I'm saying. But it means they created the conditions that destroyed her. They isolated her. They humiliated her. They made her expendable. And when she died, they profited. That's not conspiracy, that's just business. Hollywood business. Marilyn Monroe died at 36 years old. The same age she was when Fox fired her. The same age when Hollywood decided she was more valuable as a tragedy than as a woman. But here's what they couldn't destroy: her legacy. Those images from Something's Got to Give. Marilyn in the pool, radiant and vulnerable, they're burned into our collective memory. That performance at Madison Square Garden, singing to the president, it's iconic. Everything she fought for, everything she tried to become, it survives. The movie was eventually made in 1963 with Doris Day and James Garner. It was called Move Over, Darling. It was fine, forgettable. Nobody remembers it. But everybody remembers Marilyn's unfinished version, because even incomplete, even destroyed, her magic was stronger than their machinery. Dean Martin never forgave Fox. He kept Marilyn's picture in his dressing room for the rest of his career. That's loyalty. That's real. The studio system that killed her, it died too. Slowly, painfully. The old guard who treated actors like property, who valued insurance payouts over human lives, they're gone now. Their empires are dust, but Marilyn remains. Not as the tragic victim, not as the cautionary tale, but as the woman who fought, who demanded respect, who said no when no was dangerous, who walked off that set on June 1st, 1962, because she knew her worth even when they tried to tell her she had none. She deserved better. She deserved to finish that film. She deserved to age, to grow, to become everything she was fighting to be. But Hollywood doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what serves its bottom line. Here's my question for you. When does profit become murder? When does business become evil? When a corporation calculates that you're worth more dead than alive, and then you die, who's responsible? Let me know in the comments what you think. Marilyn Monroe walked off the set of Something's Got to Give. Fox fired her. Then she died. and they sent flowers to her funeral. And unfortunately, they don't make women like Marilyn Monroe anymore.